A woman stuffs a balloon under her skirt to pose as pregnant. She then asked the workers to put their phones in a basket because she was afraid of radiation. The workers noticed that another locksmith's phone was already in the basket, so they didn't think much of it. The workers then entered the kitchen to check for a gas leak. They deliberately set off the alarm on their device to deceive the woman, telling her that there was a severe gas leak in her home and that they needed to charge a fee to replace the pipes. However, just as the workers were about to shut off the valve and replace the pipes, the valve broke off completely. In an instant, the entire kitchen was filled with the smell of natural gas. Seeing this, an accomplice quickly went to open the windows, while the woman pretended to faint on the floor, struggling to breathe. The workers were terrified when they saw this. They hurried to open the kitchen door but found that they couldn't open it no matter what. Suddenly, they remembered that there was a locksmith outside, so they frantically called for him to help open the door. But the locksmith outside demanded they pay $5,000 before he would open the door. The people in the kitchen were desperate. As they watched the locksmith about to leave, the two workers had no choice but to let him use their phones to pay the $5,000. It turned out that they were fake workers and had accidentally broken the valve. If they called the police, they would be arrested and sent to jail. In the end, the locksmith helped them open the kitchen door and rescue the pregnant woman. Soon after, the woman who had been pretending to faint woke up. The two scammers were overjoyed to see her awake. When the woman learned that the scammers had spent $5,000 to save her, she immediately offered to pay the amount herself. She told the two scammers that her mother-in-law lived upstairs and that she would go up right away to get the money. She asked them to wait at home for a bit. The scammers were thrilled and eagerly showed the pregnant woman out the door. However, as the two scammers were waiting anxiously, a man suddenly walked in. Seeing the two strangers, the man immediately questioned them. The two scammers hurriedly began to explain what had just happened, but after listening, the man said that he had always lived alone and had no family. It was then that the scammers realized that the woman and the locksmith were working together. Realizing that something was wrong, the scammers tried to flee, but the man stopped them directly. The man said that since they had made such a mess of his home, if they didn't pay $2,000, he would call the police.